Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 3. Today, we discuss about three approach in curriculum design, that is, backward design. Before we explain the material, I will introduce group's member. I am Elvia Ningsi as moderator and speaker 2, Mutia Latifa as speaker 1, Monica Salbila Wahyuni as speaker 3, Mutia Tiara as speaker 4, and Siti Rahma Angelina as speaker 5. Uh, the first topic explained by Mutia Latifa. So, to Mutia Latifa, time is yours.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody. So, today we meet again, and today we will discuss of the third approach in curricular design. The name is backward design. So, I am Mutia Latifa. Will explain to you what is the definitions of backward design or backward design. So, the backward design is a design begin with specifications of learning outputs and to use this as the basis of developing instructional processes and input. So in backward design, we will start with a careful statement of the desire of the result of learning. So we will, unlike the forward design or central design, and backward design would start with the output or the outcomes of learning. So in the first step we could do is know or so know what is the outcomes that we want. So dalam backward design ini yang kita lakukan pertama kali adalah menentukan apa tujuan dari pembelajaran yang akan kita lakukan ini. Sesuai dengan namanya, backward design ini tidak mendahulukan konten ataupun metodologi, namun output or outcomes. So, bagian yang harus kita bahas dari pertama kali itu adalah output. Baru kita menentukan apa metodologinya dan apa kontennya. Lalu, kalau misalnya output ini, kita mau dimulai mengembangkan kurikulum itu dimulai dari learning output atau hasil belajar yang diharapkan dan menggunakannya sebagai dasar pengembangan proses pembelajaran dan input atau materi ajarnya. Jadi, pada backward design ini, pengembangan kurikulum itu dimulai dengan membuat sebuah pernyataan atau tujuan pelajaran yang diharapkan. Nah, di backward design ini, kita mulai proses yang akan diikuti adalah the process of backward design consists of step 1 is diagnosis of needs, and step 2 formulations the objective, step 3 selections of content, step 4 organizations of content, step 5 selections of learning experience, step 6 organizations of learning experience, step 7 is determinations of what to evaluate and of the ways of doing it. Pernyataan ini dikeluarkan oleh Taba. Lalu seperti nama-namanya, pertama yang perlu kita lakukan itu mendiagnosis kebutuhan. Kita harus mencari tahu apa saja kebutuhan yang dibutuhkan oleh siswa kita, and so on. So today it is a short explanation for me. I hope you understand from my explanations. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mutia Latifa. The next topic explained by me. The topic is example of the use of backward design in language teaching. Backward design have 5 examples in language teaching, but I just explained 2 examples. The first, backward design track objective. The purpose of formulating learning objective is to determine the changes that occur in students who are used to design learning activities so that the expected goals are achieved. According to Wiggin and MC in Richard's 2013 study that learning outcomes as the basis of curriculum formulating are very effective, and they recommend 3 steps needed of formulate learning outcomes. The first, identify the desired learning outcomes. The second, determine appropriate learning. And the last, plan learning experience and activities. This theory explains that the curriculum development process starts from determining the expected learning outcomes. Contoh yang pertama yaitu backward design dalam perumusan tujuan pembelajaran. Maksud dari perumusan tujuan pembelajaran adalah untuk menentukan perubahan yang terjadi pada siswa yang digunakan untuk merancang kegiatan belajar agar tujuan yang diharapkan tercapai. Wiggin dan MC3 menyatakan bahwa learning outcomes atau hasil belajar sebagai dasar perumusan kurikulum adalah sangat efektif, dan mereka merekomendasikan 3 langkah yang dibutuhkan untuk merumuskan hasil belajar. Yang pertama yaitu identifikasi hasil belajar yang diinginkan, yang kedua tentukan pembelajaran yang sesuai, dan yang ketiga rencanakan pengalaman belajar dan kegiatan belajar. Teori ini menjelaskan bahwa proses pengembangan kurikulum dimulai dari penentuan hasil belajar yang diharapkan. The next example or example number 2 is need analysis. Need analysis is part of the process for determining curriculum and learning objective. As for the steps of need analysis are number 1, identifying learning needs, 2, developing learning objective, number 3, identifying language knowledge and skill to achieve learning objective, number 4, preparing learning design, and the last or number 5, selecting teaching material method. Need analysis atau analisa kebutuhan. Analisa kebutuhan adalah bagian dari proses untuk menentukan tujuan kurikulum dan pembelajaran. Adapun langkah-langkah dari analisa kebutuhan, yang pertama mengidentifikasi kebutuhan pembelajaran, yang kedua mengembangkan tujuan pembelajaran, yang ketiga mengidentifikasi ilmu bahasa dan keterampilan untuk mencapai tujuan pembelajaran, yang keempat mempersiapkan rancangan pembelajaran, dan yang terakhir memilih materi dan metode mengajar. The next material explained by Monica Salbila Wayuni. To Monica Salbila Wayuni, time is yours.
Okay, I will explain about penggunaan backward design dalam pembelajaran, bentuk implementasi task-based language teaching versi kedua. Pada TBLT, task-based language teaching, proses analisa kebutuhan digunakan untuk menentukan kebutuhan siswa terkait dengan aktivitas yang dibutuhkan untuk belajar bahasa yang dituju atau target language. Adapun langkah kegiatan yang dilakukan untuk menentukan task yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan siswa adalah, yaitu yang pertama, identifying activities in the language to be studied and according to the needs of student. Yang kedua, designing class activities. Yang ketiga, applying the TBLT method. Yang keempat, identifying language and other needs for carrying out activities or tasks.
Dan yang terakhir, follow up. Seperti yang dicontohkan pada gambar yang sesuai dengan langkah TBLT. Yang pertama, identifying target. Kedua, designing teaching task. Ketiga, identifying language needs. Yang keempat, follow up instruction.
Thanks to Monica Salbila Wayuni, and the next explained by Mutia Tiara. To Mutia Tiara, time is yours.
Everyone, I will continue our material about example of the use of backward design in language teachings, about content competency based instruction atau we will know CPBI and CTs. A further example of the use of backward design in language teaching is the use the competency-based instructions method. Where is the methods? Curriculum development begins by determines learning outcome in the forms, competencies, knowledge, skills, and attitude include the form of activities, daily and assignments, where at the end of the learnings, student must be able to achieve the expected competency targets they have during the daily activities. The following charts show the implementations of backward design in curriculum development. The first is identify target tasks. Then will be into the next, describe required competencies, and identify language demands for each competencies, develops the syllabus, then then the teacher will design teaching method for their students, then learning outcomes, and the end is about learning outcomes. The chart above can be used. The first is for analyze needs. The second is determine topics for the curriculum. The third is identifies competencies for each topic. The fourth is group competencies into learning units. And 5, identify language knowledge and skill for each. Each unit, for example, is the four skills, the vocabulary, writing, and grammar. And the last, choosing teaching materials. That's all about the material. Back to moderator.
Thanks to Mutia Tiara, the last material explained by Siti Rahma Angelina. To Siti Rahma Angelina, time is yours.
The Common European Framework or Reference for Language is an international standard for describing language ability. It describes language ability on a 6-point scale, from A1 for beginners up to C2 for those who have mastered a language. This makes it easy for anyone involved in language teaching and testing, such as teachers or learners, to see the level of different qualification. It also means that employers and educational institutions can easily compare our qualification to other exams in their country.
Thanks to Siti Rahma Angelina, I think enough for the material. Thanks for your attention. I'm sorry for my mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.